Roccia is back with being more useful and she finally has a place in meta. Earlier she was just a slight upgrade over Sanua for Camellia which made people deem her useless, but now with Phrolova her kit makes more sense. In this video I have brought to you a complete and updated Roccia guide covering everything you need to know about her kit, weapons, echoes, team rotations and more. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Roccia's forte stacks are divided in 3 sections, 100 points each. She gains 100 points from her intro skill, 100 from resonance skill and from basic attacks. The 4th basic attack gives 100 points at once, which is great as her intro skill lets you directly cast it, easing up her forte generation. Another way to charge up her forte is by holding her basic attack button, but that's never really used. After she uses her resonance skill or uses a heavy attack, she ascends into air and from now she can slam on the ground based on how many forte bars are filled. The damage is considered as heavy attack damage. Roccia's Liberation deals some nice damage which is considered as heavy attack damage and gives an attack increase to the whole team based on her crit rate up to 200 for 30 seconds. You need 70% crit rate for the maximum attack increase. Her outro skill gives 20% havoc and 20% basic attack damage amplification to the next character. Casting Resonance or outro skill increases her attack by 20% for 12 seconds. Her second inherent skill is interesting and pairs well with Phrolova. After her outro skill, it changes the utility skill of the next character. On using it, it summons a tornado that pulls enemies. This skill is considered as casting an echo skill which helps to trigger Phrolova's enhanced skill. For her talent priority, her forte and liberation take the top priority followed by her skill. Intro skill and basic attack can be leveled slightly or skipped. Moving on to her weapons. The best weapon for her is obviously going to be Tragic Comedy. It gives a crit rate which is good for Roccia's Liberation buff and heavy attack damage increase which increases her damage. The other two limited 5 stars are great statistics with Blazing Justice being slightly better than where it is handled. The best free option is a standard 5 star Abyss Surges. For 4 star options you can use any of these from the list. Celestial Spiral is the best for her damage, but Stoneheart is great as it provides crit rate, helping you reach the required amount of crit rate on Roccia. Moving on to her echoes. There are 2 echo sets that you can use on Roccia. One is Midnight Veil with Nightmare Impermanence Heron, which is more damage for Roccia but less buff for the next character. And the other one is Moonlit Clouds with Impermanence Heron, which is less damage for Roccia but more buffs for the next character. Which one is better depends on your team. In a team with Phrolova, Midnight Veil is better as Roccia's damage becomes more significant with Phrolova's outro buff. But with other DPS characters like Camellia, the difference is really negligible, with Moonlit being better by only 1%. So it doesn't really matter which one you use. If your echoes doesn't have good substats, then Moonlit will always be better. For her echo stats, crit on the 4 cost echo, double havoc on the 3 cost. Using an attack percent 3 cost echo reduces her damage by 5%. So double havoc is always preferred, and attack percent on the 1 cost echo. From substats, try to get 20 to 30% energy regen followed by crit rate. Make sure to reach the 70% crit rate threshold with Roccia for her attack buff. Then crit damage, attack percent, heavy attack damage bonus and flat attack. Moving on to her team comps. Roccia is now one of the best supports of Phrolova team alongside Cantrella. She fits in along with these 2 characters. Although she is not as needed as Cantrella is for Phrolova, she delivers Shorekeeper level performance in this team. In this team, Phrolova starts the rotation and you can outro to Roccia to give her Phrolova's buff. Then Roccia outros to Cantrella, then from Cantrella to Phrolova and repeat. If you don't have Cantrella, she can work with Phrolova giving her the Havoc buff, and the empty slot being Flex can be filled with Shorekeeper, Varina or even another Havoc character like Danjin. Danjin can take the place of Cantrella. Shorekeeper is a really good pair with Roccia as she gives crit rate buff, helping to reach 70% crit rate on her. Aside from Phrolova, she is the best with Camellia as well. Performs only slightly better than Sanua, but has more AoE, making her a better pick for multiple enemy contents like Whimpering Wastes. She is also the best with Havoc Rover as a considerable amount of his damage is considered as basic attack damage and also works with any other Havoc DPS characters like Danjin. She can also work with basic attack damage dealing characters, but Sanua will always be better. Moving on to her rotations. Roccia's rotation is really simple. Regardless of what team you are using her in, you should always have access to her intro skill. So intro with her, then immediately press her basic attack to cast her 4th basic attack hit and fill 2 forte bars. Then use her resonance skill, slam the ground 3 times. You can use a liberation wherever you want, either before her skill or at the end. Using a liberation before her skill buffs her attacks, and if you use it at the end, you can animation cancel her last heavy attack. Speaking of animation cancels, you can also animation cancel the 4th basic attack hit either with resonance skill or liberation. If you get interrupted in between her ground slams, you can always get back up with her heavy attack. Make sure you use her echo skill before you outro to your main DPS. And that's all you need to know about her rotations. If you want to know more about her double into rotation, then check out this guide. Moving on to her sequences. The first sequence of Roccia is absolutely fantastic. Her resonance skill now fills 2 bars of her forte. It doesn't provide any damage increase, rather it slightly reduces her rotation damage, but that is fine cause it reduces her rotation by letting you skip her 4th basic attack, and additionally it makes her immune to interruption while casting a jumping attack, which makes this sequence really good. The second sequence is really great as it gives 40% havoc damage bonus to the whole team, which is now even better due to triple havoc teams made possible by Phrolova. Sequence 3, 4 and 5 are all personal damage increase to Roccia, but I won't really invest in that as it is better to invest more on main DPS characters rather than sub DPS. The third sequence increases her crit rate and damage after casting her intro skill, which is also very helpful for her liberation buff. S4 increases her basic attack damage multiplier of her forte attacks. S5 increases the liberation and heavy attacks multiplier, which is not that big of an upgrade. The 6th sequence is big DPS increase to Roccia as it lets her jumping attacks ignore 60% of enemy's defense, and it basically lets you do more jumping attacks. It is a massive DPS upgrade for her, but it increases her rotation by quite a lot. So overall, Roccia in 2.5 has become even better than she was before thanks to Phrolova increasing Roccia's utility. However, the sad truth is that if you replace Roccia with Shorekeeper in this team, you will get similar results. Even Dungeon in this team performs really well, making Roccia not a must pull or not as important as Cantrella is for Phrolova. She unfortunately is replaceable in all her base teams, but no one can provide crowd control like her, making her the best choice for AoE contents. Her biggest downside is that there are already 2 great sub DPS characters that can provide similar buffs to her, Sanhua and Danjin, with Sanhua already being a top and free character. Aside from that, she is really easy to play, has surprisingly great damage for her sub DPS, and as I mentioned earlier has the best AoE in the game, placing her at the top of the pyramid in Whimpering Wastes. So pulling for her is not a bad choice. If you like her playstyle or like the character, then just go for her. But for players that are not interested in any of that, but are deciding if they should pull or not for meta, skipping her and saving her astrides for future characters will be a better option. Let me know in the comments what you think about Roccia. Don't forget to join my Discord server to hang out with other WoA players. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, do leave a like and share the video and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. Thanks for watching.